Hey guys, I'm back with a new review video. Now a few years ago I did a review of the 2008 remake of Day of the Dead, and if you haven't checked that out, I would recommend checking that out. But if you have, you know my opinion on that. I wasn't 100% a big fan of that one. But I decided to also check out this one too. I'm going to do a review of it, and that's Day of the Dead, Bloodline. And I'm going to start by saying that I am a huge fan of Day of the Dead. I actually have my Day of the Dead shirt on. Right here. Here's proof I'm a huge fan. I mean, it's actually one of my favorite zombie movies of all time, one of my favorite George A. Romero movies, so I think it's one of his best movies of all time. And I've seen the other Day of the Dead movies as well. I've seen that Day of the Dead 2 Contagion, which I just didn't like. I saw the 2008 remake, which I didn't 100% care for. And so I checked this one out too. And I wanted to do a review of this one like a few days ago, but I was too busy with the Hellraiser series reviews. But now that that's over, I finally have time for this one. So I'm going to get into this right now. So this is about this medical student named Zoe who does these treatments to this guy named Max. But we find out that Max is basically like this crazy guy who has a thing for Zoe, but she doesn't really like him back though. But then one day, in the morgue at the hospital that she works at, he tries to rape her, but then he's stopped by this corpse that just rises from the dead and attacks him and infects him too. And then we see that there's other zombies, or in this one they're called rotters. So there's other ones that basically cause havoc, attack people, spreading the virus around. But then after that, it cuts to 5 years later, and Zoe is living in this military bunker, basically trying to help people, people that are taking refugee. So there's actually a lot more people living in the bunker in this one than there was in the original George A. Romero classic. And then one day, this little girl who lives in the bunker is just really sick, and she actually suggests that they go to the hospital where she used to work at so she can get the medications she needs. And then so they decide to just drive there since it's not that far away. And so then they manage to get the medications. But then we see Max, who's now a zombie now. He sees her and then follows them right to the military bunker, and then breaks right in. And then so he, after he breaks in, he decides to go after Zoe, but then he's caught, and she actually finds out that Max is actually not like any other rotter. Okay, I'll say zombie since I know a lot of people would prefer me saying zombie over rotter. So she actually realizes he's actually not like any other zombie. So he actually tames himself from biting her, so he doesn't try to eat her, try to give her the virus. So she actually realizes he's actually smarter than any other zombie, and she actually wants to keep him chained up to do these to do these experiments to get his blood to try to make a vaccine. Not really a cure for the zombies. Not like she's trying to cure the zombies, because there's no cure for them. Come on. But she's trying to make this vaccine from for people who get infected. That way it prevents them from becoming one of them. And so, and of course, as you can clearly tell from what I just explained with Max, that in this, so he's basically the bub character from the original movie. We also have this military guy who's actually against these experiments to make a vaccine. So he's actually supposed to be the Captain Rhodes character from the original movie as well. So my personal opinion, I thought this one was alright. I mean, there was things in it I really did like, but also things I did not like at all. I mean, for one thing, this one was filmed in Bulgaria. It wasn't filmed in America, and you can actually clearly tell, that these actors were not really American because, like, while they're trying to do these American accents, however, their Russian accents you can actually still clearly hear. So, like, the acting was just really bad, except for the girl who plays Zoe. What's her name? Sophie Skelton. That's her name. Like, she was okay. I mean, she actually was a decent actress. Jonathan Sheck, who plays Max, their version of Bub, he was actually the best actor in this. So his acting was actually really good. I actually know Jonathan Sheck for playing Jonah Hex in a few episodes of Legends of Tomorrow. But there's like other problems that this actually has. Like, it's like once they go out of the bunker and go to get the medications, it actually suffers from horror cliches, like, car breaks down, something you've seen before, characters making, like, stupid decisions. So yeah, so it suffered from the usual horror cliches. Also, I wasn't 100% a fan of them cutting 5 years later and showing them in the bunker. I mean, I did like the whole bunker setting, I really did like that, but I would have liked to have seen more of the zombie apocalypse, showing, like, more in detail, it spreading around, showing them how they get to the bunker and everything. But I guess maybe it's because of budget restrictions, I guess couldn't do that. So it suffered a bit from its budget. But the best thing that this movie had going for it was all, like, the practical effects. Like, they really went all out with, like, the practical effects of, like, the zombies. With their makeup was all pretty good. All the the rotted skin, the cuts and everything. There was even the zombie that, like, had, like, his jaw hanging right off, which I'm assuming was a tribute to the zombie that didn't have a jaw, like the very first zombie we saw in the original Day of the Dead. So I liked that little tribute too. I did like the post-apocalyptic look when we saw the town and whatnot. But you can clearly tell that was like a backlot studio, like a backlot set in a studio. And like, so I liked the little nods to the original George A. Romero classic here and there. So I liked that they had like this Bub character who's smarter than like any other zombie. Even though, like, I did like it more in the original movie, how would they show him getting smart from, like, the scientists, like, tutoring him, like, teaching him, like, showing him all the stuff, like the phones, razors, a gun and whatnot. Basically, like, teaching him to, like, almost, like, be human again. So, but another thing that I also did like was the action, like, with all, like, when the zombies get loose and the military people, like, fighting back. But, like, as much as I really did like the practical gore effects, like these blood squirting and whatnot, the zombies eating guts, however, there was some, like, CGI blood splatters too, which were very obvious. But I know that's a little nitpicking because there's actually some good zombie movies that had that. But I don't know. I mean, like, I just kind of think, like, it didn't 100% work in this one. Like, mixing it with practical, then all of a sudden you have CGI stuff. But as I can clearly tell, this did have budget restrictions, and that's really, like, all thing I 100% gotta say. I mean, it was an alright movie. Oh, I actually did remember, like, why I was pausing, because I was trying to figure out what else I didn't 100% like. Is, like, since I was saying that, like, just say corpse rises up, they didn't 100% explain, like, where this virus came from, like, how the zombies came to be, like they did in the original George A. Romero series. Like, they explained that it was a radiation leak somewhere. In this one, they don't really explain. They just rise up randomly. Yeah, so all in all, I thought this one was alright. it is what it is. I mean, there was things I did like about this one more than the 2008 remake. Like, I did like how this one was a little more loyal to the original George R. R. Romero classic, but also being different at the same time, too. While the 2008 remake was only a remake through title. I mean, however, the 2008 remake did have some really good actors in it, like Ving Rhames and Nick Cannon. So it has that over this one, because, like, you know, the actors in this one I don't really know that well, except for Jonathan Sheck. So, like, I kind of want to rewatch the 2008 remake after watching this one to give it a little more comparison, and which I'll one day do soon. So, like, this one was alright for what it was. It doesn't have the same rewatch value of the not 2008, the 1985 George A. Romero classic. So I would just say, like, you know, just watch the George A. Romero movie. It's like, this isn't as good as the George A. Romero classic. It's better than Day of the Dead 2 Contagion, though. In my personal opinion, this was actually good as a zombie movie. Maybe if it wasn't called Day of the Dead, it may have actually been a pretty good zombie movie. So it's good as a zombie movie, but as a Day of the Dead movie, it's a disappointing movie. So, if you're a huge fan of Day of the Dead, you're going to be disappointed. But if you're a fan of zombie movies, I would say, like, you know, check this movie out. So, in my personal opinion, from a Day of the Dead fan, I would say it's worth checking out just one time. So, like, you know, just check it out, make your own opinion, and that's all I got to say. Alright, see ya.